Hello, it's Concord Wind. Um, it's very cold. Um, I don't. I think it's like in the single digits. It's like very cold. Um, but that's about it. There's not really any ice. There was like a little bit of snow, but it's not that bad. This winter storm that was supposed to be like historic and the first of its kind in over a decade, it hasn't been like that bad. I think it's been worse in Texas, but in Tennessee it hasn't been that bad. It's just really cold, and that's about it. All right. Today we're gonna be reading from Volume One of The Word Appears in the Flesh. Um, I prepared. We're gonna read a chapter, and by the way, sorry for what's this? Okay. Anyways, sorry for not uploading in so long. It's been a couple days at least since I last uploaded. I'm sorry about that. And the reason why is because I haven't had caffeine and I've been super tired and I've been sleeping a lot. And so I just like, and I haven't had any inspiration, and I've just like, it's been really hard to get motivated without caffeine. Even though towards the end of my my like caffeine consumption, um, I was like not really feeling the effects of it very much. I mean, it would last like an hour, and that was about it. Um, so yeah, um, but I'm planning on getting an energy drink when I get paid on Friday. So I've been a while. It's been a while since I've had caffeine, and on Friday it'll be even longer that I've been without caffeine. So hopefully I'll have like zero tolerance to it, and it'll just keep me up all day, and I'll be able to make a really good video, on while experiencing the effects of the caffeine and stuff, and like that's the plan. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't know if it's gonna work out the way I'm hoping or not. Because to be honest, I mean, this is a big book. I mean, obviously, this is a really big book. And this is only one book out of 7 books that have been released of God's words. The seventh one isn't like finished, but a lot of the chapters of the seventh book are uploaded. And they're uploading more every now and then, every couple of months or so, they upload a new chapter of the seventh book, which is obviously the newest one. And even though this is a lot of content, these books provide, my understanding of the content and my experience with the content is limited. So, and you'll even see today, like I've already thought about what I'm gonna say when I read these words. Like, it's a lot of the same thing that I've been saying. I can only say so much. I don't know how preachers do it, because like, I guess because they're able to speak, about doctrines and stuff like that, and so that gives them more to talk about. But I don't really speak doctrines. I speak upon my understanding and experience of God's words, which is very different from doctrines. doctrines are like, you know, religious theories, kind of like that's kind of what doctrines are. It's like a theory that is practiced by a church, like baptism by submersion of water is a doctrine that is practiced by the Baptist church. I know that from experience because I used to be in Baptist church, and it doesn't mean like it's just a theory. Like it's not absolute. Like you don't have to be submerged underwater to be baptized. You can, but you don't have to. And as a matter of fact, in this age, baptism is completely unnecessary. But back when it was, an important thing for people to do, like I don't think submersion in water was necessary. I think it was whatever was available to people, whatever people could do. Like God doesn't ask a pig to fly. Like if you don't have access to enough water to submerge yourself in, then there's ways around that to get baptized or whatever. Like so doctrines are like very limited in scope, very strict. They're like these rules, these belief systems that are very close-minded, and they're not open to God at all. Like if I went into pretty much any church and said I was reincarnated from a demon or a devil or whatever, like if I went into a church and said that, they would say I'm crazy. They would say it's not true. They would say, because they're very close-minded. They can't accept that something like that can happen. So you have to be open-minded. And that ties in very nicely with what we're going to read in God's words. The chapter is called In Faith, One Must Focus on Reality. Engaging in religious ritual is not faith. How many religious practices do you observe? How many times have you rebelled against the word of God and gone your own way? How many times have you put God's words into practice because you are truly considerate of his burdens and seek to satisfy his will? You should understand the word of God and put it into practice accordingly. Be principled in all your actions and deeds. Though this does not mean abiding by rules or doing something grudgingly just for show, rather it means practicing the truth and living by the word of God. Only practice such as this satisfies God. Any course of action that pleases God is not a rule, but the practice of truth. Some people have a penchant for drawing attention to themselves. In the presence of their brothers and sisters, they might say they are indebted to God, but behind their backs, they do not practice the truth and act entirely differently. Are these not religious Pharisees? A person who truly loves God and possesses the truth is one who is loyal to God but does not outwardly show off as such. Such a person is willing to practice the truth when situations arise and does not speak or act in a way that goes against their conscience. This sort of person demonstrates wisdom when matters arise and is principled in his or her deeds, regardless of the circumstances. This kind of person can provide true service. There are some who often pay lip service to their indebtedness to God. They spend their days with brows locked in worry, putting on an affected air and pretending to be pitiable. How despicable. If you were to ask them, "Can you tell me how you are indebted to God?" then they would be rendered speechless. So, how are you indebted to God? Let's talk about that. So, how I'm indebted to God is when God asked me, or no, when I asked God, sorry, when I asked God for his wrath to come upon me, he answered that prayer and he brought his wrath upon me. I developed schizophrenia. And when I asked for God to take his wrath away from me, he did. He answered that prayer and he took his wrath away from me. It's 4 years of suffering I experienced, and through that suffering that God arranged for me to experience, there was an answered prayer. I learned so much about myself, and until eventually in 2025, last year, I had the awakening from God's words. God taught me, He told me that I'm reincarnated from a devil, and that's where the schizophrenia comes from. And so God has given me so much knowledge of myself. He's shown me my corrupt nature, that, I worship women and I'm deceitful, and not anymore, but that's how I used to be, and that was my nature, and it's changed. And He showed me that. And I'm so thankful to Him for everything He's revealed to me and for giving me hope. Because when He told me I was reincarnated from a devil, He told me that doesn't mean I can't be saved. Because I'm a human now, and that's what I should focus on, is being a human now. I don't need to worry about what I was in the past. Even devils can be saved if they don't give up on the truth. And God has given me so much hope and so much to live for, and He's given me such a happy, meaningful life. And I'm just forever indebted to Him because of everything He's done for me. And you should be able to give a similar testimony, or maybe not completely similar because you're not reincarnated from a devil, at least hopefully not, but it's no big deal if you are, as long as you can practice the truth. That's what matters. And so yeah. Hopefully you understood everything I've said today. And I think I'm going to end it here while I'm ahead. I don't want to keep reading and then, not be able to say anything or speak any words to help you understand the meaning of God's words. And because I am very tired. So I'm just going to end it here. But thank you so much for watching. God bless and goodbye.